So this is a console. This right here is a console. And of course, this is also a console. But these aren't the things that I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is the Steam Machine, which looks a lot like the GameCube in just terms of the overall design and just being a box. But in this case, we're talking about a PC, or specifically a small form factor gaming PC. And I, of course, have a PC myself. I've been building my own PC for probably more than 15 years. And at the same time, in terms of my overall console experience, I've had game consoles since the original Atari. So I've seen all of it throughout all the years of gaming, from beginning all the way to where we are at right now. And the Steam Machine is something that I think is going to really shake up the industry, because where Microsoft, Sony, and practically every other company wants to go, even Nintendo, is eventually they want to have control of everything. And the best way that they could do that is to control the entire platform, the entire experience. And at some point, the whole idea of a console versus a PC, I don't think that's going to exist anymore. And so my thought is it's going to be a console PC, meaning that it is a PC that also acts like a console, which I think that's what the Steam Machine is. But at some point, there won't be a distinction. I think they're just going to call it a console, because at the end of the day, you're really going to use it for specific purposes. And for the gamers, its primary purpose is a game system, but all the internal parts and stuff, it's very similar to a PC. It's just that you don't have as much control into what you could put in and out of it. It's not as modular as building your own PC. But at the same time, I don't think people who are specifically getting a game console are really thinking about that. They don't really care whether it's running Windows, Linux, Mac, Nintendo, whatever the operating system that is running underneath. People don't care, and they don't really care about all these different specs like people like us do, who are really into tech and gear and so forth. All they care about is, can it play games? And can it be easy for me to use? And that is the one thing that hopefully the Steam Machine is going to address, where it's going to give you all the benefits, or most of all the benefits, of a PC gaming experience, because obviously Steam is primarily for the PC gaming community, but bring it into the whole console world. So now you actually have a console PC experience. And over time, as all these companies are heading towards a day where you won't really have a console, but you'll basically have a platform. Basically, this whole idea of you could play this platform anywhere. And Microsoft wants to go with the Xbox anywhere, and I think Sony does too, and eventually Nintendo will too. But Valve, they are already there, because for anybody who uses Steam, you just don't play it on one PC. You could be playing it on your laptop, you could be playing on your Steam Deck. And the Steam Deck is a really, really great example of basically the console PC experience. Even though it is a handheld, you could actually dock it and then use the operating system, which is Linux, Arch-based Linux operating system, and then use it as your desktop. So eventually, that's where everything is going. Microsoft had to do the opposite way, where they shoved Microsoft Windows in handheld devices, and they've done this for a long time. I mean, for as long as I can remember, they've been trying to do this and then make it kind of work with smaller devices. Whereas now they're trying to make it a smaller device experience first and then have Windows underneath. But for me, I really feel Valve does a much better job with SteamOS. And if you didn't know, I absolutely hate Microsoft Windows. So if Valve and SteamOS specifically can replace that entire experience with this whole console PC experience, and then at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to call it a console PC or even a PC. They might just maybe just call it a console, and just everything's going to be a PC underneath it all, running hopefully SteamOS or something better. But at least right now, I don't think there is another platform and currently operating system that makes it easy to use and also works mostly seamlessly across different devices as Valve does through their Steam service. And so that's where I see things are going with this whole console PC experience, and very similar to what we saw back in the day, where you had really large consoles at the beginning, like this one, the OG PS2, and then eventually they slimmed it down. I think the small form factor console PCs are going to get even smaller and more powerful. And eventually, they're just going to be like dumb consoles, you know, basically machines with very little hardware, and you're going to be doing all your gaming through the cloud services, whether it's through Valve, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, whatever the case might be. That's where all of them want to go, and they've been trying for many years. But eventually, at some point, you know, the idea of having a console, whether it be a gaming console, a gaming PC console, whatever, it will cease to exist, and you're just going to have these really small boxes. Maybe it might be RetroPie, whatever the case might be, and we're going to be doing everything through the cloud. And so those are my thoughts on this whole console PC that's going to be coming towards us, and I think it's really going to be a new experience for a lot of people. And for people who are already PC gaming, console gaming, or maybe both, this might not be anything new. It's just going to be in a lot simpler, hopefully more convenient form, and it's going to allow people to game basically everywhere and anywhere. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave it in the comments area below. And if you did want to see my other retro gaming videos, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode.